Hi, and a warm welcome to this week's episode of Property TV, where we'll be discussing the updates from last week's budget. We'll be talking about the new stamp duty rules, the commitment to building homes in the UK, changes in the indexation allowance, and also, although this wasn't widely reported, changes for non-resident investors. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first piece of news was that the Chancellor announced that stamp duty for first-time buyers will be exempt up to £300,000 and in London up to £500,000. So this could potentially save a first-time buyer around about £5,000, which is a great saving. However, is this enough to actually improve the housing market and to make some short-term gains? Probably not. The impact the Treasury are going to see from allowing first-time buyers to actually not pay stamp duty is probably going to be very minimal. And in fact, it could almost be seen as some kind of PR stunt or an appeal to the younger voters to vote Tory in the next election. We'll just have to wait and see. Is it going to make a huge difference? We're not sure at this stage. Now, the Chancellor has also committed to building 300,000 new homes with a huge investment of over 15.3 billion into the sector. Now, most of this will probably go towards the large developers, but he's also promised to help smaller developers with some kind of loan scheme to allow them to also access the funds that they desperately need. But at the same time, is this enough? We don't have enough bricks, we don't have enough labourers, and also most importantly, although Cameron alluded to it, planning reform really needs to take place to speed up the process and get rid of the red tape. At the same time, he also wants to fine people that are holding onto land and not building on it huge sums of money. But as we mostly know, this isn't really happening out there. What is happening though is the land that is being kept back. Who owns all the land? Typically the government and the public sector. And that's where we could see some upside if they decided to release land out for builders to build upon. The government is also removing the indexation allowance that was held in limited companies from January 2018. So what this effectively means is in the past, a company would have mitigated a certain amount of capital gains through this allowance. That has been removed again from next year. And finally, what about our non-resident investors? So having been recently in Hong Kong and Switzerland talking to investors, I know how important this is for you to understand what's going on. Now, as you remember, the relief for effectively non-resident investors on the residential side was removed in 2015. But until this time, commercial property, when you bought and sold it, has been exempt from certain of the taxes that we would pay in the UK. That unfortunately has been taken out in April 2019, so you will end up paying capital gains on any commercial property owned by an overseas investor. The other piece which is also changing from 2020 is that all overseas investors will be taxed at the corporation rate rather than the individual taxation rate applicable to you. So again, this is effectively going to make more taxation come through from the government, but it will mean that you as an overseas investor will end up potentially paying slightly more for your property. So that's all we've got time for on this week's episode of Property TV. But I did want to invite you to attend one of our seminars. Now, as you know, we run a variety of seminars across the country, generally in London and Northampton. Occasionally we do go north up to Manchester and also Edinburgh, and we'd love to see you at one of our events. Our events, you get live, real, cutting-edge content with no fluff, and we really tell you how you can build a property business. So if that's something that interests you, please go on to yourhmoexpert.com, onto the events page, and you'll find the latest events, details, and all the dates on there, and you can book and come to an event from just £7.50 plus VAT. So come and have a night out with us and learn more about how you could build your own property business. Until next time, this is Matthew Moody saying goodbye for now.